Working on Core was both a lot of fun and a lot of work. There's quite a few struggles and challenges that were impossible to anticipate when we started going into the project.
So we knew we wanted to make a sci-fi film, but it's actually kind of funny the inspiration for the specific direction that we went down.
This flashlight that kind of opens up, and I just thought kind of if you ignore the fact that it's a flashlight and you just kind of look at it this way, it looks kind of like this weird power cell. Oh, it'd be really cool to have like a sci-fi film where, like, you know, rogue mercenaries are stealing a battery, and then off of that, kind of the whole sun thing.
This was our second large-scale script, so I made a list of all the people that I thought this would be super cool if I could get these people involved in Core. But these were all people that I thought, oh, there's no way that they're gonna actually join this. And then in late April, I actually started asking these people, and one by one they said, yeah, that sounds like a super cool idea, I'd love to do that. And every time I was very surprised. I thought, wow, all of these people that I look up to and that I respect are interested in making a film project with me. And I thought that was super cool. It was a big turning point in my filmmaking, realizing people enjoy filmmaking, people enjoy doing this.
Personally, it was just a for me thing. It was kind of a pain to figure out like scheduling. So like for some context, I had graduated high school, immediately like the next week packed up my house and moved. After that, I was dog sitting for a week in like a completely different house and then trying to juggle that and coming out and recording. So like I was really tired throughout most of the process.
I was moving during the middle of filming, so a lot of times filming days would be disrupted where I would be just about to get ready to go and then it's, oh, we gotta get the house ready to show, or perhaps we're coming home from a filming day and I don't necessarily know where I'm coming home to. And so it became a struggle just knowing where I am and knowing where to go.
So that was very stressful to figure out. Like, okay, here's like a whole calendar, everyone cross off the days that you're not available, and there was like 4 days left blank between all of the different people. John was basically going away for like a whole month and then on a camping trip right after that, so we had like a week window to use John as an actor.
Trying to get everyone together and get food and get transportation and get everyone there on the right days. You know, there's just so many little details to be done. I found it to be a really good challenge. So we looked into locations and we found this amazing spot that would have been great for the exterior of the Core facility, but it was a 5-hour drive away and it was also a state park. So I went through the proper channels of calling the film commission. I learned a lot about film permits and how much it would cost, and you had to have $2 million insurance, and there was just so much involved in it.
So we were on set inside the facility, and there's this one really cool shot that we had lined up. John was just kind of like, you know, it could actually be kind of cool to cut from the overlook down to here.
We came up with the idea on the spot and thought, hey, that'd be cool, let's throw it in there. We did it.
Wait, is this the, what are we doing?
When they say bang, you're gonna get hit. They're basically kicking in and breaching the door behind you.
Alright, I don't know why we're so stupid to do that, but...
For the couple of shots that were needed of breaking into the Core facility, we decided in the end to just do it in post.
The Core is a spaghetti container with a drawer handle screwed into the top. And then there's some foam in there to hold our lighting rig and a little bit of blue plastic to color it blue. You know, as we were building the containment unit for this thing, because we wanted them to like pull it out of this container, we made a trash can with a piece of wood that goes through the center to hold it up so that you could, you know, slide it into place and then pull it out and it wouldn't like fall to the ground. Hopefully you saw the movie before you saw this BTS, because now that you know what the actual props are, you're never going to be able to unsee them as just an upside down trash can and a spaghetti container. There was actually a really funny meme that KADE made. SpongeBob boy, the mercenaries stole the pasta container and now billions will die without their son, or something like that. It's very silly.
Night is always challenging because the lack of light doesn't work very well on camera. And so in most films, they've got this mystery light that's just kind of like this hovering, glowing thing that's off in the distance that looks as bright as like a car headlight. But everyone just comes to accept it as this is just normal. It's something there in the forest. And so I thought, we can do this. I have this fancy light, which is actually right up here. And it's got a battery pack and it's really bright and we can go out in the forest. So we tried some early tests where we went out in the dead of night into a dark forest with no moonlight to simulate the idea of what it would be like on a planet with no lights at all. and we failed. There was just not enough light to be able to capture performance and all the different things we needed to do, and the battery wouldn't last long enough, and we couldn't get it high enough. You know, we didn't have a crane. I mean, there was a lot of things that I realized as we did it that was overly ambitious, and it was just not going to work. So we had to come up with another solution. Our other solution was to do day for night, which is a classic thing that you shoot during the day and then you color grade it to look like night. But we didn't want that, you know, sunlight, you know, it's kind of obvious. So we had to go to that hour, you know, they call it the blue hour, when the sun has already set, but there's still light in the sky, and film as fast as we can during that 1 hour time frame. But we did a lot in post to kind of crunch down the light, you know, add blue, bring the levels way down so that it just felt as dark as possible, but you could still see everybody and see everything.
By the time that March, April was rolling around to 2019, we had thought that we were pretty solid and we had had a good script here and that we were ready to shoot. That was until after we had gotten everything else sorted out, after we had gotten our actors, after we had gotten our locations, after we had gotten our props, we went to go see this group called Delve. They read our script and they suggested a lot of changes. So about 2 weeks before we shot, CEDAR and I went back and we rewrote the entire script. We got rid of a character or two and a lot of shortening, a lot of cutting out scenes. Actors were thrown for a loop, but what I'm hoping is that it actually did turn out better than the previous draft.
It really felt like it wasn't going to work, or we were going to have enough time to film everything, and just all of the things we were attempting with the nighttime scenes, the building the set, just everything felt like it was falling apart, and you know, we're just about ready to call it quits.
Hi. Alright, we're here. It is the first day of filming for Core. It's been way too long since I've been on any film set whatsoever. So
It's so cold!
Shut up, Enders. It's great to be back. And we got a great cast and crew here, except for me, except for him. It's gonna be fantastic.
We did some drone work, and I thought that was really cool because I'd never seen a drone before. We did a few chase scenes, like that one chase scene through the smoke I thought was amazing because we had that special camera that stabilized the shot so you can run with it, and it was fun running through the smoke. It got some pretty cool shots.
Shooting your best friends who are wearing masks with nothing making gun noises was pretty fun. One of the moments that really sticks out with me, it was when we were doing the action set pieces at the warehouse, and I was in full costume with the gun in the bathroom waiting for my cue.
I think the coolest moment was when we were filming on set in that little spaceship thing that we made. I thought that was the neatest thing, especially when we wrecked it all for the crash scene.
There was a little inside joke behind the scenes about Grant actually having some sort of mech when he comes in towards the end of the film. We came across spray paint, and there was like chrome, gold, neon pink, and neon purple, and neon green. And then we just saw those colors and we're like, these would be the colors Grant has.
The mosquitoes on the first day of filming, those were brutal. We had to run a lot in some scenes, and that was just physically demanding, but nothing that I wouldn't do again, for sure.
We drive up to Todd Lake and then we're like, wait, we don't have parking permits for the 3 different cars. Uh-oh.
We were recording every single scene with the boom pole, but we didn't say which scene or which take it was. We didn't do any like the clapboard things. We were just like, that's an unnecessary waste of time. But unfortunately, all of our different cameras and the audio recorder all were set to different days and like times because they got reset and whatever weird stuff. So going in the editing, it was a mess. I almost thought we were never going to use any of the boom pole audio, but I did eventually find a way to sort through it and use just a little bit of the boom pole audio. It was painful to actually line it up with the video, but I had to remove some mosquito sounds and some breathing noises that were annoying me.
Only way to save your planet without. Only way to save your planet without.
There was the one time I got lost. I'm taking pictures, like really nice behind the scenes pictures of the entire crew walking around the lake. But then nobody waits for me, and then I take like a wrong turn at an intersection. I'm just like, just walking along, enjoying nature, taking pictures, and I'm like listening for the sounds of screams and fake gunfire in the distance, but it's just really quiet. And so I walk around and I'm like, okay, they probably went back to the spot, and I get back to the spot eventually, and you guys are like, where have you been?
Looking back on it, I should have just moved forward with the scene and he figures it out whenever he gets back, instead of waiting for like an hour. Basically, it was like 9 p.m. and the sun was pretty much totally down, and we had only just barely gotten through the stuff with with the KADE and the Eldon being shot, and we did not have enough time for the mercenaries.
And we come back thinking, oh crap, this is gonna be fun to find a way to get the rest of this done, because scheduling at that point had become very difficult. So our solution...
We just woke up at 4 a.m. to get that nice early morning lighting.
Even though we're just gonna change everything to night post.
Because we don't have enough lighting here. And it was 26 degrees. So that was cold. I still can't feel my fingers.
Which was interesting because, of course, 3 a.m. wake-up call, but also having to get into the emotion and acting of this tense scene before the sun was awake.
Poor John, the lad, had to wear just a t-shirt because of the way we designed his outfit for summertime. Probably nice for the other scenes, but that scene was, 23 degrees, not great. When I finally finished everything and I'm like, finally core is done, I get to do the easiest part, is just press the render button, the computer does the rest. I thought that would be easy, but no. I'd send the render, and then the computer would do this thing where it gets through maybe 25%, 50%, 75%, somewhere in that range, and then it crashes the computer, but in a way where it looks like it's still working. So after a great amount of pain and an unfortunate amount of down-resing that I would have liked to have avoided, finally I got a final output. In the end, I'm glad with the final result. Organization is really key.
Yeah, I think I learned a bit more about how things are put together because, a lot of people have visions and dreams of what they want to accomplish, but then actually trying to say make a movie is a whole other beast entirely, and learning what it actually takes to, the camera, the special effects, so much of it is still out of my scope, but I definitely feel like I've learned a lot.
It was my first real film experience, or I guess acting in a film. I had acted in theater a lot, and I kind of experimented and to play with some recording stuff, which was also really fun, but it was my first real big experience like that, and I kind of came away from it when can I do this again? Where can I do this more?
Acting is hard. It's a lot harder than people give it credit for, especially when you have yourself on a screen. You have to do it 3 or 4 times in 5 or 6 takes.
You need a team. As simple as it can be with, you've got one guy behind the camera and one guy in front of it. But as complex as you need multiple perspectives on all of the creative aspects.
Once you get on set, once you see the actual conditions, once you see how the actors are dressed and how things look, everything changes.
I think it was super fun working with actors. I learned a lot about set building and construction. I learned a lot about film permits and organizing people.
I learned so much on this project, from tiny little things about screws to big things like, communication and things like that. Too much to, say everything here. I realize this video hardly scratches the surface of everything that was done on this project, but it was a fun experience, and I hope you were able to get some insight out of this video.